years I used to say there were three things that conspired to make me, in fact I think it's still true, there are three things, three forces that have conspired to make me the artist that I am today. Number one, the joy of creation. Number two, clients with deadlines. And number three, the threat of starvation, dang it. So that's why I've become such a good artist, because the threat of starvation has kept me working really hard. But after decades of being an illustrator, a number of things happened, and I decided to take the plunge and try to launch into the wild and wonderful world of fine art. Oh man, what's the difference? Man, I'm not even going to be able to tell you, but one of the differences is, oh, can I interrupt myself this story? I want you to notice what I'm doing here. Do you remember? The area I'm working in right now used to be just a big blob of orange. And now I'm not doing sky holes, I'm doing roof holes, right? You're seeing the green roof through that orange tree, and I'm actually defining the top of the roof, and in a while you'll see me, I'll define the bottom of the eave of the roof. Not by painting it, but in fact by painting sky holes. Anyway, so I was an illustrator and did mostly super realistic stuff, and then entered the world of fine art. It took me several years to get my sea legs under me. As soon as I started painting in this wild and crazy loose technique, though, it was like the scales fell from my eyes and I began to understand the essence of painting. Here I'm using a palette knife and going back and touching that guy on top of the building. So the scales fell from my eyes and I began to understand, I think, a lot of, if you will, deeper principles about painting that I had missed in all my years of illustration. What is it that actually moves people? And that began a long journey. Oh, hasn't been that long. It's been about 10 years. I started when I was about 50. I just turned 60, and for several years now, I've been telling my friends, I set myself a goal. That is, I want to be a good painter by the time I'm 70. Some of you, I hope, the 4 of you that are left watching this video, you're saying, oh, Dan, you're already a good painter. Well, yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate that. I do my best. I'm working at it. But I don't want to sound humble. I don't want to sound arrogant, but I don't want to sound falsely humble either. Okay? I plan to be a good painter by the time I'm 70. When I say good, I plan to be one of the best painters in America. Okay? Now, I may fall miserably, hilariously, outrageously far short of that goal. But you know what? It's my goal. And better to have a high goal and miss than a mediocre goal and hit it. So anyway, I want to be a really, really good painter, and I'm still developing. I've only been doing this kind of oil painting 10 years, which is, I'm still pretty much a newbie. And I'm growing fast, I'm learning fast, I'm changing fast. If I do another one of these super full-length videos, you know, in 2 years, you'll hear me, you'll see me doing different things, and you'll hear me saying different things. Because every painting is still an adventure for me. Every painting is a bit of a risk, a bit of a potential disaster, frankly, because I'm always experimenting, always pushing the boundary. And I'm saying all this because I invite you to do the same thing. I invite you to set a high goal, and I invite you to push yourself, stretch yourself with every painting. Don't get in a rut. There have been several points in my 10-year painting career where I've got a formula down, and I have intentionally shot my formula in the foot. Said, okay, I got that down. That's enough of that. I've got to start doing something different. So even what you see me doing here, they're like the palette knife is new, the sgraffito is new. Every painting is an adventure. That also, by the way, let me tell you, that also means that not every painting is a success. Not every painting is a masterpiece. One of the admittedly best known and maybe best painters in America is Kevin McPherson. And he'll never hear this, but Kevin, if you were listening, I'd say, thanks buddy, one of the best things you ever said on one of your videos. He said, well, I was out here painting yesterday and it just went terrible. Man, that was encouraging. He didn't even have to show us the bad painting. It was just good for me to know that not every painting is a masterpiece. And that is certainly the case for me. Now, I'm happy to say that the particular painting you're watching, I'm glad that I recorded it, because when it was all done, I'm quite happy with this painting. I hope to do much better in 2 years, but for where I'm at right now as an artist, I'm quite happy with this painting. So this is not going to be a disaster. The music you're hearing right now is part of one of Gintis's piece called African Rondo. He's one of those rare musicians that's just as comfortable in the classical concert hall as he is in the jazz club. Amazing, amazing. Okay, I'll brag a little bit. I actually got to play with Gintis about 7 or 8 times, I think, before he passed away. And oh my goodness, what a treat. When you play with people that good, they make you better. You play better just because you're playing with them. And for brief moments there, he turned me into a world-class musician. Definitely one of the highlights, maybe the highlight of my musical career. Anyway, I digress. This is supposed to be about art, isn't it? Okay, and okay, some of you though, now you're wondering, well, what do I play? I'll go ahead and tell you. You know, I've been working on trumpet and flugelhorn for 50 years. Been working on guitar, mostly classical guitar and classical jazz guitar since I was 26. So what's that? 34 years. Late in life, I discovered that I kind of had a knack for picking up instruments. I didn't realize that until I was in my 30s. And so for the last 20, 30 years, every 5 or 10 years, I'll pick up another instrument. And so as a result, I now am fairly facile, have fair facility on a blues harp and flutes and whistles, tin whistles, penny whistles, recorders. And please don't say, oh yeah, I played one of those in 5th grade. Sorry, my child, you did not play one in 5th grade. What you played was a blankety-blank flutophone. And if I had a whistle right here, I would demonstrate the difference for you. My hero, and I'll go ahead, my hero on the whistle is Joni Madden. Joannie, Madden, M-A-D-D-O-N. Google her, buy her CD. That's the way the whistle is supposed to be played, and that's how I try to play. And if you're Irish, her name is pronounced Johnny Madden. But if you're English, it's Joni Madden. She's Irish, but she's, as far as I know, lived in New York for many years now. Anyway, I digress in the music department. The music you're listening to right now is one of Eric Terlizzi's pieces. And again, I'll list all of the music at the end of this video, so you can go rush to your computer, run, don't walk, to order these 3 CDs. I'm using a palette knife here to render in the mullions of the mullions are those boards, the skinny little boards go back and forth, right? And here I'm doing more sgraffito to imitate the texture of the building. Here's a rule of thumb, because these are skinny lines, right? That sgraffito is skinny lines, and the palette knife is skinny lines. But here's the rule of thumb: when are skinny lines legal? The answer is whenever they can be rendered with dispatch, whenever they can be rendered quickly and easily. If they can be rendered fast and easy, then they're legal, because they'll look like they were rendered. In other words, what is not legal would be picking up a tiny little brush, you know, a number 0 Winsor Newton Series 7 brush, and getting a maul out. A maul is a stick that you lean your hand on, you know, and very carefully, here's the sound effect. Very carefully drawing a skinny line, because it'll look like, okay? It won't look like it was done with dispatch. It won't look like it was rendered quickly. It'll look like it was labored over, because it was. So there you go. There's a rule of thumb. What lines are legal? I'm doing skinny lines right now. Yeah, but they're rendered quickly and they look like it, so they fit the overall painting. Okay, here's a close-up of someone with brushwork, and you art students, I want you to notice I use this technique a lot, especially when I'm painting wet and wet. I twirl my brush. See, I roll it. Do you see it? Look, let's look again. See if, are you gonna do it?